Yesterday, on the Twins front, the perfect blueprint played out. Now, again, it was against one of the worst teams in baseball. The Detroit Tigers are a complete disaster, especially their offense. It is by far the lowest scoring offense in the league. I think they're averaging fewer than 3 runs per game.
I think it might be the worst in the history of a franchise that, if I'm not mistaken, has been around since the early 1900s.
That's amazing. So they're
I
bad.
think that's what I heard.
Yeah, they have exactly 2 guys in their lineup with a slugging percentage over 380, which is atrocious. For context, the Twins lineup yesterday, everybody except for Leon and Contreras has a slugging percentage over 400. So just a stark contrast. But Tigers' ineptitude aside, you had the perfect blueprint post-trade deadline play out yesterday where Joe Ryan goes 5 innings, just smooth sailing for the most part. 9 strikeouts through 5 innings, only allows, I believe, 3 base runners and the 1 run. And then they have 4 innings to cover out of the bullpen. And instead of bringing in a couple random slappies that are just kind of coin flips to give up a crooked number, they bring in Fulmer, noted late inning reliever the last couple of years, former Rookie of the Year as a starter. And he pitches a scoreless inning in the 6th. And then Thielbar comes in, and he's been banged up, but he comes in, and he looks great. And he's really your only lefty, I think, in the pen right now. And then you turn the ball over to these 2 lights-out flamethrowers in Duran and Lopez for the 8th and the 9th innings. And bam, you're going home with a victory, 4-1. So, again, how does this formula hold up against playoff-caliber teams, the Rays if you meet them in the first round, or the Blue Jays, or if you get beyond the first round, the Astros or the Yankees? But your starting pitcher going 5, maybe 6, turn the ball over to Fulmer or Jax or somebody, or maybe a lefty Thielbar, and then if you can just get it to the 8th, Duran and Lopez are 2 of the more lights-out options you're going to find in the American League. So, I mean, yesterday played out exactly how you wanted it to post-trade deadline, boys.
And this gives you an opportunity now to be competitive where, in my opinion, before the deadline, you weren't. You were faking it. Like you ran through the blueprint, but the pieces were all wrong, right? And the one thing that we saw yesterday that's now a possibility that I absolutely love is this. Lopez's presence allows Duran to be a true fireman. So, like, if he can pitch the 8th, great. But if you've got a tough 7th, like let's say you're going through 3, 4, 5, right? You bring him in now. And Fulmer takes the 8th. The point is Rocco now has the chips and the pieces to do things that previously, and again, I will say this, I don't believe it was all his fault, made him look stupid. Like previously, it was like, yeah, I'm going to bring Pagan in. You think Rocco Baldelli was like, I can't wait to bring Pagan in? Of course not, especially where they were doing
other
it.
viable options,
That's what, right, exactly. But I do think that for all that we think, and to a certain degree, I think it's true, that Rocco is a puppet at times. I believe what he said, and it was sort of embarrassing at the time, but now it makes more sense. What he said when the Twins were playing the Brewers, and we might have talked about this a couple days ago, and he basically said, yeah, we go to our bullpen, and they do, and we like to think that we've got like 3 guys, blah, 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 and we're all like, well, you don't. I think that's as close as Rocco comes in Rocco's life to criticizing Falvey and saying, you've got to get me. Like I am literally trying to put these guys out there who have no shot. Well, guess what? Now you 1,000% do. So, yes, that blueprint, I don't care who it's against, was refreshing to see.
Yep. And I do. Now, listen, you face that Yankees lineup and this version of Judge and some of the guys they have up and down that order, and even the best relievers are going to have a hard time getting some of those guys out. But it's been very rare in the last 20 years of Twins baseball where you feel very confident in the 8th and 9th innings. Like Joe Nathan, I felt pretty confident, but then you saw some of his playoff meltdowns. Certainly after Joe Nathan, like Matt Capps was at the back end at one point, and John Roush, and Glenn Perkins was really good, but he played on a bunch of bad teams, so we never really got to see him in these sort of postseason crisis situations. But I would put Duran and Lopez up against almost any lineup. And I'm not saying they're going to blow them away every time, but I would at least feel pretty good about, okay, the Twins have a 4-2 lead going into the 8th inning of a playoff game, and Duran and Lopez are coming out back-to-back. Let's take our chances,
And even guys like Taylor Rogers, Tyler Duffy, which was their 1-2 punch out of the pen in 2019 and even into 2020, though they were solid. But I even think Duran and Lopez are both major steps up. And
Yes.
that's just, and if you look at just the raw numbers without the names and you saw Rogers and Duffy's numbers in 2019, be like, damn, these guys must have been damn good relievers. But Duffy kind of had a tendency to melt down in big moments. Taylor Rogers would always kind of walk the plank as well. This was my point of, you bought yourselves a playoff win. And by the way, if you get into game one and you have to use all three of these dudes, and there's a potential that maybe one of the two of them won't be available for game two, that's okay. Get the win now. And I think that's what I'm most concerned with, is like, well, we didn't want to throw Duran, so we wanted to throw Thielbar because we want Duran available for game two. Worry about the then and now. Don't worry about the thing that's coming up after game one. Worry about getting the game one win. Don't overcomplicate things.
How are we doing this? Has the schedule come out yet? Are there off days built into these 3-game series, or is it just bang, bang, bang? Because there's no travel, right?
I think it's bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think they're trying to clear that first round out as quickly as possible. So I think it's just 3 consecutive days.
Yeah, here we go. So
Yep.
playoffstatus.com. It looks like...
Because it's the Rays right now for the Twins, right? As things currently stand.
Yeah,
The Rays here.
Oh, here we go. Game one, so it would be... Yeah, it's bang, bang, bang. So
Yep.
it would be Friday, October 7th, Saturday, October 8th, Sunday, October 9th, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And it's all home games. So it's really interesting. If these series go 3 games and they're close games, let's say you win the first one, you lose the second one, you don't get a day off to rest your best relievers. There might be times where you use your best relievers in the first 2 games because they're close games, and then you got to make a decision. Do you run a guy out there
Right.
3 straight days, or do you say, hey, 6th best reliever guy, go get him?
Well,
in
no,
a
but
decisive game 3?
if your starter is good, what the Twins got against Houston with Barrios and Maeda, if your starter is good, guess what he does? You decide at 2:00 he's going to go 6, at least 6 in game one, because then you'll save your bullpen a bit. So I would definitely, if I had a hot hand in game one, I would ride it as long as possible without a presumption that guy had to come out after like the 5th.
And so here, Royce kind of brought this up on our Rap with Royce segment today. Jhoan yesterday. So he goes, again, it's against this atrocious lineup. And he goes 5 smooth sailing innings, 1 run, 3 base runners, 9 strikeouts. He struck out half the batters he faced, basically. And he only threw, was it 75 pitches?
Yeah,
I'm trying to find this
78,
here.
I believe.
78 pitches.
Yeah.
And so you think, okay, can't you get one more out of him today? Well, what they're trying to do with Jhoan, the most innings he's ever thrown in a full season was with Tampa's minor league pipeline. He went up 3 different levels in 2019, and he threw 123 and 2/3 innings.
Mm-hmm.
The next season, he did not pitch in 2020. And then in 2021, between AAA for Tampa and then the 5 starts he made at the end of the year after the Twins traded for him, he pitched around 92 innings. So 92 innings last year, nothing in 2020, a career high at any level of professional baseball of 123 and 2/3. He's already at 90 and 2/3 innings for this season. And they have 2 more months of regular season baseball and then October. So I don't have a huge problem with, on the surface, it's like, guys, come on. It's the Tigers. Would I have left him out there for 12 more pitches? Yes, against that lineup. These aren't super high pressure pitches you're throwing. But I get what they're doing. They don't want him throwing 170 or 180 innings, going 50 innings beyond anything he's ever pitched before, and then the playoffs hit.
Sure.
So, but at the same time, you got to make the playoffs first. So they're constantly balancing this. And real quick on the other starters too. So Sonny Gray, this is Sonny Gray's 10th or 11th year in Major League Baseball. His first couple years, he was a horse. He threw 219, 208 innings back in 2014-15, which seems like a lifetime ago in terms of pitching, handling, and strategy.
Right.
But lately, here are the innings he's thrown. 2017, 162, 130, 175 in 2019, All-Star season in Cincy. 56 in the pandemic year, 135 last year in Cincinnati, and he's up to 74 right now. And so he's another guy. It's been 7 years since he's thrown anywhere near 200 innings in a full season. And even Tyler Mahle, the guy they just acquired via trade, 180 was his peak innings of his career last year with Cincinnati. He's already at 104 and a third. So some of this is like, I have to check myself. And it was 5 or 6 years ago that you would look and say, yeah, 200 innings is still the standard. Right. It is not anymore. Baseball has changed so much in the last 5 or 6 years.
Right. But this is why once you get to the playoffs, in my mind, it changes completely. Like, this is why you don't apply. I actually don't have a problem with applying this for the rest of the season. Where I have a problem applying this and what the Twins did against the Astros, which I will never understand, is they applied the same logic to playoff games when they had two starters who were pitching really well. Now, if they struggle, totally get that, right?
Yep.
But when you're going to go potentially three consecutive, very high stress, high pressure games in 3 days, I think you need to sit down beforehand and not just say, well, our rules still apply. I think you need to take a long, hard look at how you potentially tweak those rules to get through those 3 games.
Yep. Yeah, there needs to just be a little bit of, I think in general you would say, okay, going in, based on the numbers, based on whatever other factors, the yellow light is 5 innings twice through the order.
Right.
But there is leeway to go through the yellow light for another inning if it's been a smooth sailing 5 or if the opposing hitters look like they're just not picking the ball up today. So there needs to be some level of maybe 75% of your decision is decided at 2:00. But the other 25, that's why you pay Rocco 7 figures. And if he can't handle that, then we'll, bring somebody else in for 2023. So, but again, like it played out perfectly last night or yesterday afternoon. And if they can replicate that against some of the better teams that they're going to be facing down the stretch and the division opponents that they're trying to ward off, then it was a perfect trade in that regard. So anyhow, any other Twins thoughts from you guys before we get to old tweets exposed?
Yeah, I'm at the game tonight. Got the Cole Swindell concert.
Are you sticking around?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is that tonight?
Yeah.
I was going to go.
Well, all right. See you later.
I might stay home and watch now.
You can leave before the concert hits.
I know, but there's going to be a lot of people there now. It's going to be the parking ramp might get full.
You and Ross Brendel. Ross was
that.
just telling me this. He wants them to play the Royals 81 games a year, so there's no one at Target Field.
No. I like Toronto. Just leave Cole Swindell home. I love the Jays coming in.
But it's going to be packed regardless. Like, so
no,
you
don't
don't
be a bunch of yahoos coming in.
You don't want the dude bro country fans like me that are going to be there.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Pack it with baseball fans.
Joe, what's your Mount Rushmore favorite country artist?
Well, I love old school country.
Do you?
Cash. Oh, old school country is fantastic. This new wave stuff, it's basically
you're
pop.
out on the pop country.
It's poppy. Well, it's okay. I don't want those people in my stadium, though.
Those people.
I don't want those people.
What,
in
people
my
who
stadium?
wear flannels and jeans?
No, I'm talking about the actual singers. I don't want the singers in my stadium.
What's wrong with Cole Swindell? Cole Swindell's fine. There's nothing wrong with him.
I'll take Greg Swindell. Cash is up there. Love Johnny Cash. Great stuff.
Can you name 3 other country artists?
Who else do I like old school country?
Kenny
How about
Chesney's
Loretta
here on
Lynn?
Saturday.
No.
Loretta Lynn.
No. Yep. Loretta Lynn's fantastic. Yep.
Tammy Wynette.
Chesney, no way.
Restless Heart.
No.
Black Hawk.
Kenny Chesney, you can have.
The number
Chesney.
one appointment weekend viewing on my streaming services. I got to watch the Shania Twain documentary on Netflix.
We want to watch that too, for sure.
Love me some Shania.
Not Twain,
Grew up on
yeah,
Shania.
she's talented.
Come on.
I'm not going to lie. You know what, though? I don't want her at Target Field. Not unless it's her own show. I don't want her at Target Field post-game.
The post-game thing is a high wire act, man.
It is.
I don't like it.
You just know, even though this is like a 6:40 start, this is going to be like a 4.5 hour affair, and he's scheduled to play. I think it's a 75-minute set. So like,
Don't they have a curfew though? Isn't there some? What if the game? And I get the extra inning games are pretty because you got to run around second base, so it doesn't take long to end these games. But
no curfew.
So the game could go till 11:30, and then he plays till
He go
1
till
o'clock
3.
or something.
Yeah.
He go as late as he wants.
Okay.
That'd be
I remember
great.
one time during I used to have a condo downtown Minneapolis, kind of by the post office down there. And during the 2014 All-Star Week,
Yep.
they lit some fireworks. I was dead asleep in bed.
Yes.
Like, we had a long day doing shows, and we were at the convention and stuff. And I was dead asleep. And my window at the time, it faced the Hennepin Avenue Bridge and the Mississippi. I legitimately, for 10 seconds getting up out of bed, thought there was a terrorist attack happening downtown Minneapolis. Just bam, bam, bam. It was probably, had to have been like 12:30 a.m.
MLB
A lot of
had come to
complaints,
play.
a lot of old people
I
complaining.
remember
Yeah.
I remember the complaints, but guess what? They didn't care.
Yeah.
No.
I'm good on that.
No curfew.
So, all right, it's time for the weekly trip through the Twitter archives here. Declan goes back and finds old tweets exposed every Thursday on Mackie and Judd. And this one's presented by our friends at Valley Park Medical Clinic. Okay, guys, if you're having problems with ED, no need to be ashamed. Okay, this is a safe space to talk about those problems. Valley Park has surgery-free, drug-free, and non-invasive treatments that can help you get back on track in that area of your life. The Valley Park Medical Clinic team is highly trained, and they'll work with you in a discreet manner and make you feel right at home so you can ask any question in a professional and confidential environment. ValleyParkMedicalClinic.com. All right, Dex, what do you got for us?
All right, so because the trade deadline happened, I figured who are some like obscure Twins prospects that Mackie, Judd, and Declan maybe fell in love with at one time. So I figured I'd bring that to the fold. And we have universal takes on one player. So start with Phil Mackey.
Is it a Arcia take? Oh, God.
Nope.
Oh,
Hosmil Pinto take. May 28th, 2014. Hosmil Pinto has started once in the past 12 days. He homered in that start. Meanwhile, the Twins are averaging 3 runs per game in May. You are pushing the Hosmil Pinto agenda here.
Yeah, listen, when you can't score runs, you might as well try something. Okay, what was this? What was the timestamp here?
This was May 28th, 9:47 p.m., 2014.
Okay, in 2013, Hosmil Pinto hit
He did mash.
342 for the Twins with a 963 OPS, and then at AAA that year, he had an 833 OPS. So to that point, he was an offensive option. And then he was terrible after that.
Yeah, and
It did end quickly.
looks like he played in about 60-some games after this tweet. So
Yeah, and then he went to Milwaukee, and he's basically been out of baseball for 6 years.
a
But
long
I
time.
stand by the try something. Okay. Try something.
Try something. Just try. You know, Judd Zulgad had a pretty similar take. The same date, actually. Mauer's struggles are overshadowed this Pinto storyline, which I see being brought up by some ridiculous that he can't get in the lineup.
Yep.
Look at that, see?
Yep.
Look at you two working together.
He was
here.
hitting, man.
Boy, did we tweet that on the same day?
Same day.
Same day.
About 20, 30 minutes apart. You guys must have been.
This is in the middle of okay, what time is this? 10:30 p.m. Okay, I
So-
thought it was in the middle of our show there for a second, but
Might be a good Phil, maybe go look at May 29th's episode of Mackie and Judd. Was that a thing yet? Was Mackie and Judd a thing in May of 2014?
yes,
Or is
this
it
was
still
the
with Royce?
It was like I think we were 3 months into Mackie and Judd
Okay,
here.
so I bet there's a lead talker in the opening bell of Hosmil Pinto.
Hosmil
takes
Pinto,
from
play
you
him.
two. I
Gardy,
wouldn't be
what the
surprised
hell?
at all. Wouldn't be shocked at all if that exists.
All right.
All right, me, I also have some Hosmil Pinto takes, but also just some embarrassing Twins prospect takes. September 1st, 2014. Pinto, actor, and Hicks should be fun to watch with the Twins, as in I think these were September call-ups.
Yep.
AJ Actor, Phil, is I think who I'm referencing here. I had to look him
Yes.
up. Just a guy who was a body, pretty much.
Just a guy, yep.
Just probably a dude who like carved up some
How did he
strikeout
work his
numbers
way
at
in there?
Rochester Red Wings. I'm sure if it's September 1st, 2014.
Right.
So I'm sure all 3 of these guys were, September call-ups, or Declan was sipping some Twins optimism.
And just wait till
Kool-Aid.
Parmalay's back.
So I was also on the Hosmil Pinto, but also the AJ Actor train as well.
Okay, I just found something amazing here. So, okay, this is from the Pioneer Press. Actually, the Pioneer Press wrote about this. This link is actually from Jim Mandalero, who used to cover the Rochester Red Wings for the Democrat and Chronicle in Rochester, New York.
Yep.
This is from June 17th, 2014. So just like a few weeks after Pinto must have been called up at some point and then sent back down. So this was a whole conversation. And here's the article. Glenn Perkins, former Rochester Red Wing and current Twins closer, didn't hold back when asked about Pinto's catching ability during an interview Monday on 1500 ESPN Radio's Mackey and Judd show. Pinto was demoted to the Red Wings last week in part because of his poor defense. Here's the quote from Glenn. Mind you, Glenn was the closer of the Twins. Glenn's the best, man. Glenn was a weekly guest with us. He hosted the Score North Twins show with us a few years ago. He's a long ways away, to be honest with you, Perkins said. Balls close to the zone, balls below the zone. I guess I don't really know about blocking and all those things, but his pitch framing, he's got some work to do. I don't know what level he's at, but he's surely not at the big league level as far as catching for me.
Wow.
Okay, we answered the question.
And then he adds, I know he's young. He came up through the minor leagues fast. He's always been able to hit, so I don't know if he ever really focused on the defensive stuff. Hopefully, while he's down there, he'll learn that defensive side a little bit better. He's not big. He's not a big league. Or he's got a big league bat. That was the toughest part about him going. He can hit major league pitching. It's a tough spot for him. It's too bad. That's how the game works. He can hit, but that's not what it's all about. You've got to be able to do the other things, especially a young guy like that. You can't be a 25-year-old DH. He's got to learn how to catch.
Wow. Perky, I don't remember this.
Now that you bring that up, I vaguely recall that.
Wow.
Because I think we were in studio like mouth agape, like, oh my God, he's saying this.
Dude, that is amazing. So there you go.
All
And
right.
that's why Jose Mil Pinto never became a thing in the major leagues. Anyhow.
That's what Pinto takes.
I don't know. I think the Jose Mil Pinto takes probably tie for the win there.
Yeah, it's just a universal tie.
Why isn't he up? 3 weeks later, Glenn's like, this is why.
Yeah, because he's not good at catching. I do think that if you go back and look, I think the Mackey and Judd Twitter accounts are probably way more, there's a much bigger indictment on Oswaldo Arcia. Because we were both, I remember doing a show where we were both like, what are you doing? The guy's got all this power. What are you? And I recall that being a little bit more extended. So I think our guiltiest of Twins takes on a prospect is probably Arcia of all time.
I still stand for Oswaldo Arcia. He is not very old. He's in his prime. He's 31 years old.
He's still playing?
He's been playing in these
Mexican league for a while, right?
Yeah, I think
Vargas?
he might be winding down now, but he did play over the winter in the Venezuelan Mexican League, and he slugged .471 with a .441 on base percentage, guys. He had a .913 OPS in the Venezuelan Winter League. And just a couple years ago, he played in like 2 or 3 different foreign leagues, and he had an .815 OPS, 16 homers in 103 games. Even stole 7 bases, okay? So there's still a guy in there.
Within 3 years, Miguel Sano will be in one of those leagues.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Probably.
I could see him
Arcia,
mashing in the
Vargas.
KBO. Oh, dude, he'd be a great Korean baseball organization player.
Oh,
Put him
with
in
a
the
flip?
KBO.
With a
bat
bat flip?
flips, just hitting bombs. Yeah, dude. Let's make
That's
that
not a
happen.
bad idea, actually.
Yep. So, all right, there's your Reckless Speculation Thursday. Your old tweets exposed here on Mackey and Judd today.
Speculation.
And we continue with Judd's camp notes over on Purple Daily, which you can find anywhere you listen to podcasts and the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Thanks to everyone who's clicked subscribe on the Score North and Purple Daily YouTube channels. We appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow. Mackey and Judd.